or anything. Cool. Hi, my name is Allison Monaco. I am a recent graduate of SUNY Buffalo State's Theater Department. And I'm thrilled to be called the Assistant Conference Coordinator to this year's Anne Frank project. Oh, thank you. Very great. I hope you're all enjoying the conference. The play you are about to see is the result of my 16-year journey from healing from sexual abuse. For a long time, I didn't know what to do with my story. I read many Freud books, I turned to prayer, and decided that my favorite piece of clothing would be the sweatshirt. I wore them telling myself I wasn't allowed to wear the clothes I wanted to wear. I was damaged. It was the easiest way for people to ignore me and just to cover up and hide. I've traveled more than most my age, but it wasn't until my trip to Rwanda with the Anne Frank Project family that something finally clicked. We had learned so much about the 1994 genocide and the atrocities the Rwandan people had faced that I was prepared for tears and sadness. However, our visit was filled with smiling and singing and dancing. Even the people in prison, I'm not kidding you, even the people in prison greeted us with joy in their hearts. I couldn't believe it, but it all made sense. That is how life should be, filled with forgiveness, joy, and perspective. That is how I wanted my life to be. When we came home, I told my friends that I wanted to form a support group for people our age who had experienced sexual abuse as I had. From there, before I knew it, I began writing a play, consulting with my friend and mentor, Eve Everett, and I received a grant for what is now called Sweatshirt. What I learned through the creation process as a director is patience. Devising a piece of theater is no easy task, and I knew we were dealing with heavy subject matter and that some rehearsals, the cast and I were just going to talk. As an artist, I learned the true meaning of discipline. While working an off-campus job and taking my final year of classes, I was still accountable for 17 cast and crew members, for a fully developed and produced play, and for the mental and emotional well-being of not only my peers, but myself. As a human being, I learned that if you are brave enough to share your story, either on a coffee date, through interpretive dance, or through a play about a clown girl, like Sweatshirt, you all of a sudden inspire other people to be brave enough to share their own stories. This was not something for which I planned, but I am honored to be a part of other people's healing journeys. What you will see today is Sweatshirt's final performance. We have truly come full circle, as this time last year, script development was just beginning. If you asked me a year ago what I wanted out of all of this, I would have told you, I want to take my sweatshirt off. I want to be rid of this scarlet letter that brands me as a victim. That's not my answer anymore, and I don't know if I have the perfect answer just yet. But I would say, what I want is to wear a sweatshirt because I want to, not because I think I have to. It's an amazing feeling to make my own decisions based on what I want and not based on what I have falsely convinced myself I think I need. I would have never guessed the power of telling my story, and some days it's really difficult to talk about, but other days I'm loud and proud because I can't imagine who I would be without my past. Either way, I know this. Telling my story has only benefited me. There is no better way to build community or, in this case, form a support group than to tell your story. You'll all notice that there are note cards or pens, or if you have something to write with and on, please make comments, write down questions, write down feelings, anything, any quotes that arise during the performance. It's a 22-minute play. There's hardly any talking in the show, so just write down whatever you need to write down. We're going to have a talkback. I'm going to have the cast talk to you about their experience in the process, and then we'll open up for questions. And then we're going to do a quick, fun workshop with the cast, just to show you how we got to the place we are as far as the physicalization and the devising of the piece. Sound good? Yeah. Cool. All right, so without further ado, Sweatshirt. You don't know what I'm about to write because I never showed or told anyone how I feel.
One night, I had an overwhelming flood of hurtful and embarrassing memories come back to me, all of which included you. I was pressured. I knew it wasn't right. I had been violated, and I didn't express that to you. But nowhere in my strength could I say no. I was so small. How could you do that? Over the years, I had developed depression and anxiety.
2 faithful companions who have stayed by my side.
In my world where my parents are always fighting, I can't seem to do anything right. Depression and anxiety relax me. It leads me back to bed and allow me to escape. Allow me to escape into fictitious worlds where there's always a happy ending. But life's not a movie.
And when I tried for myself to make that happy ending, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
And now I know why.
It was you. You who robbed me of my childhood, of my femininity, of a relationship with my family, and any true intimate
connection. I've been numb, and this whole time I thought there was something wrong with me, but it was your fault.
I don't want to be numb anymore. I want to have relationships and connections with people.
I can't do those things if this is holding me down. This letter releases your hold over me.
I need to accept and learn from what you did to me. And in order to let go, I need to forgive. Forgive you for the acts, but most importantly, forgive myself. I hope you are at peace with who you are and who you were. If not, I urge you to change that and to start living your life. I can begin to live mine now. Alexandra Emily Madison. Alexandra Emily Madison.
Madison.
Down here. Oh, I see. I kept it on. All right, because I was going to take it off. Okay. Let's go right down the line and just introduce yourselves. Hi. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a little thing on the thing. There. Chris, do you see where it is?
Got it. I'm Chelsea.
Perfect. I turned it on.
I'm Chelsea. And I'm a theater major.
Perfect.
I'm Trevor. I'm an alumni.
Oh, I don't think it's working.
Yep. I'm Julia. I just graduated from upstate. I'm Gianna. I'm a theater major. I'm Molly. I'm a theater major. I'm Sam. I'm a theater major. I'm Brittany. I'm an alumni. I'm Kara. I'm also an alumni.
I'm Shabar. I'm also an alumni.
I'm Christina. And I'm an alumni as well.
Cool. I also have, you'll notice, this is Frances. She was our stage manager. She's also technical director of the Anne project. Jeremy Catania was my house manager for this entire production. Mary Breeze was our assistant stage manager. Thank you, Mary. And Mario Pataco helped edit all of my sound. I don't think Mario's here. Tony, are you here? No. Okay. Well, okay. So none of the top is here. Perfect. Okay. So first, before we get into Q&A or comments and questions, I just would like to ask a couple of the cast members, whoever is willing to share, about their process, where they were before Sweatshirt, how that process helps, how the Sweatshirt process helps them with their story, because we share a lot. This really did become a support group, and then where they are now after post Sweatshirt, because now it's literally post Sweatshirt. It is, I know.
Well,
Yeah, it's not.
when we first started Sweatshirt, I wasn't sure what to expect. Like, I had done devised theater before, but I wasn't sure what this was going to be about, because when you do devised theater, you don't have a play, you create the play. So I got there was no play, and we would just sit there and talk about stuff. So that's where the support group part came in, because we were able to share things with each other that we necessarily couldn't share with other people. And it was cool to have friends there to talk to. Yeah, I had a lot of things to share, so it was nice to get that out in the open. And yeah, now I feel like I've built a bond with these people unlike any other, because they know so much about me. So it was a good journey, and I'm proud of everyone.
Everybody goes through a similar journey as demonstrated in the play. You start off, maybe you don't know at all that you're a victim. That's kind of where I was. There was things that I rushed out of my mind. I thought it wasn't such a big deal, but in the devised process, I realized I was a victim too, and I know I'm not the only one who realized that. And I was able to go through that process of accepting that it happened and healing from it. So I'm very thankful to have Sweatshirt, because I would have never even realized that. I'm very grateful that I got to go through the entire process and see it live happening through the play, artistically.
Anybody else want to share?
Somebody, Shabar?
Yeah.
You have a microphone.
Hello? No.
It's off. I'm like,
It just comes out of nowhere. She just leaps in the They're recording though. Thank you.
should I give him this?
Okay, so similar to Trevor, I wasn't aware that I was a victim. That's not necessarily of sexual abuse, but of abuse, and that I've witnessed a lot of abuse. And being a part of Sweatshirt has given me vocabulary to recognize, and I was able to heal. And this process of sharing research, sharing personal stories, really created a safe environment for all of us to feel comfortable to share with each other and grow from it and empower each other, and in turn create a show and empower others. And I'm really, really grateful for Sweatshirt and for this entire cast. It's been incredible.
I just want to say there's nothing quite like watching a group of people change together. And Al and I have worked together in the past, and the first project we did was just a play. It was just a straight play. And I was so grateful that she was willing to trust me. But then when she brought all of us aboard at different times, in different roles, there's nothing more gratifying than being able to say that there's someone that you can trust wholly, and that someone who trusts you wholly with their story. And so I just want to say that I'm proud of us as a team. I'm totally proud of everybody who's worked on this production. But the most rewarding thing is being able to watch how we've changed. And you say it's been a year, and it really has, but there's nothing quite like a piece that is constantly changing with its performers. or with its director, or with its leader, because no matter what, every day you bring something new to the performance. We've lost people, we've gained people, we've changed props, we've changed venues, we've changed audiences, and that's one of the best things about what we do and what we do here at AFP is change. And I know that's sort of our theme this year, but being able to change and adapt with others and to do it in such a beautiful environment through stories and through art and through music. I just want to say I'm so proud of you and proud of us, and thank you for everybody here today. And that's kind of it. I've never quite been a part of something that over a course of a time, you can see really each moment and how we all took care of each other, and we all took care of this story. And we carried it with us, and now we carry it, and we put it on every day, and we love to do that. So thank you.
Thanks, Britt. Thank you.
Okay. We're talkers, I'm telling you, we just love it. What really resonated with me in this whole process of developing the show is just how much stories really do impact people and how much power you have when you tell your own story. Because I remember starting this process, I was so impressed with how open Al was about her story and how she is this person who just has light shining out of her, but she has such
Get that in there.
yeah. And she has such a story, but she's so willing to share it, and that inspired me to share my story, and inspired several of us to do that. And I think that as a lot of us theater majors, we understand in our minds that stories can impact people, but it's really remarkable to see how someone sharing their story can lead to others sharing theirs, and how much more can come out of that. So that was what I took away from this. Thanks, Molly. I was going to say the exact same thing. But just going off of that, I just really want you guys to understand that this is proof that your stories matter, and this is proof that stories do change, and that's what our theme is about, this Anne Frank conference of 2014. And I just want to thank you guys for coming and listening and being open and understanding and being here today, because without you guys, we need people there to feel the message as well and be impacted by that and go out and share your own stories. And I really want to thank Al for this whole process, because without that, I don't think I would have healed myself. And I don't think I know. I just really want to thank you for this process and everybody here, because we all become so close with each other. We share each other's stories and we protect those stories and we take care of each other, and that's what this is all about. That's what Anne Frank is all about. We take care of each other. We take care of each other's stories. We respect everybody out there and have compassion, and that's what this is all about. Right. Thank you guys. What we'd like to do now is open up to any questions, whether it's about devised theater, which is obviously not traditional theater, whether it's about subject matter, anything at all. We're open to your questions. Then we'd like to do a fun little workshop. Yes, let's do this. Yes.
A lot of the things that were going on whenever the moon was up, were all those dream sequences or something?
Oh, okay, good question. Who wants to answer that? That's a good question. No, I answered.
What did he say? What did he answer?
He asked when the sun and the moon were going up, was that dream sequences?
So it was kind of hard to see, but our beautiful Deanna was laying in her bed, as per usual, all the time you saw, and she flipped the remote on, and suddenly the TV was on. So it was, I guess, a theater version of that character watching movies over a period of time. And the sun and the moon were going to show that she was in bed watching these movies for a long time. And it was something that she just did to try to cope. So she wasn't sleeping. She was watching these films and she was participating.
Or if you want to take it to she was dreaming about it,
Sure,
she
you
can
can
go
go
there.
It's up for interpretation.
Yeah.
So if you took it as a dream sequence, that's still beautiful and that still works for the story. So
Yes.
So you have these clowns as like the way to depict who this is, so your mom, your dad, and your I'm guessing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Okay, making sure. When you guys started to do clowns, what inspired you to go to clowns instead of like?
That's a great question. Oh, that's a great question. So, yeah. So when I was first thinking about this play, I went to a different school. When I was first thinking about this play, I had this idea that this, like 100 people would be on stage, and people with clipboards would pick somebody, right? Okay. And then they would put that person on a bench, and that person was glued to that bench. They couldn't move. And so the way I was like, how do I show that she gets violated? Because obviously she can't do anything. I had this idea that somebody just smeared something across her face, like that, and then she just wore that face. And so I was telling that to my mentor Eve, and she said clowns. She said you did this, and I said yeah. And she goes, oh, we're doing clowns. So she took that, I took that as abuse, and she goes, no, we can do that, but they're going to be clowns. So it was really her idea. She knows a lot about clowning, and she gave me a lot of books. But it was just from me telling her I had this idea once that we just wanted to smear some across her face, and that's where that came from. Yeah. Yes.
I don't have a question, I just have a comment.
Sure.
Number one, you're very brave for doing this because I don't think I would ever be able to go on stage and tell my story. I don't think I'd ever be able to go on stage and tell my story like that. And every time you see someone's story, there's always that one thing that sticks out like that you can connect to. And I would have to say it was the depression and anxiety because that really was very powerful. The way you portrayed it and how like you dealt with it was just very strong.
Thank you. I'm glad you could connect to that. I'm very glad you could connect to that. Thank you. Yes.
Faster than you.
Just because we're recording, it's only because we're recording. Otherwise.
I think above all else, the non-speaking aspect, or the word part that we're speaking, it made the play more powerful, the fact that there was no speaking. Everything was very overly dramatic, and I think that impacted the play. So what influenced that decision to
There were a lot of everything is like from diaries that I kept, so there were poems, there were words. Then I had a meeting with Mr. Ducon, and he goes, I didn't need the words, he goes to me, and he's my mentor, and so I said, okay, we'll try without words, and he was right, of course. I wish he was here so that he could hear me say he was right, but of course he was right. I did have words in it, and he saw it, and he said, the audience doesn't need it, and I said, okay. So I said, take out the words, make specific acting choices, put your words in your body, and show us what you're saying instead of saying it. And so they were saying the lines just with their bodies.
I just wanted to say that I think that words they can capture like the moment or what you're feeling, but in this play I think I did an amazing job of just portraying like how words won't be able to portray raw emotion, like like how when you were on the ground you're crying your eyes out, you were just pouring your heart out. I honestly was almost in tears. I was just like it was just something that was that words can't do. Like you don't need to say, oh, I'm crying. It's just something that you do, and I think you did an amazing, spectacular job, all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Yes.
Is this one on? They're all on.
They're all on. Francis is just like, they're all on.
They're all on.
Okay, I agree with one of the other audience members that depression and anxiety resonated with me. And also that you connected with the soul. And a lot of times when we watch people, that's where you really connect. Because when you talk, they get caught in the words, people get caught in the words, and those can be misinterpreted. But no doubt you connected with someone's soul here. And I'm speaking from my I'm sure others would agree. And that's what's important. It's like, that's what makes us never forget. It's an imprint that is never going to be, we won't forget this. Whereas words, you forget, well, what did they say? Or how did she say that? It's right here, this visual and the connecting with the soul. We're not going to forget that. I thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of times we use words to filter what's going on.
We use words.
Francis is embarrassed.
We use words to filter what's really going on in our heads. We can easily say, I'm fine, but really we're not. But you can't hide an expression. You can't hide a reaction. So I totally agree.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much. Dr. Pinions.
I just think great performance, great production, and I'm just thinking back to the beginning, when you were starting to reveal your stories. You've shown us such courage here today at the end of the road, but there must have been some things you did that allowed the telling to occur. And I wonder if you might share with us some suggestions if we're in a situation where someone's about to tell us a story, how we might encourage that story to come out and the support to be developed and caring to be shared.
I'm going to speak as a director. As a director, you never want to ask your actors to do something that you wouldn't do. So it was weird because it's like I have to heal myself, I'm trying to help other people, also I got to put on a play, I got to direct, right? It's weird. And then it was like writing it and sound designing it, a lot of hats. So as a director, even if I was directing Shakespeare, I would never ask Juliet to go on the balcony if I wouldn't go on the balcony. So it's the same concept. I would never ask somebody to share their story if I wasn't willing to share it first. I would always share it first. So as a director, you want to do something that you would want to do something that you would do, and you want your actors to do that too. So it's an example.
I would like to speak as an actor, because I was acting in this play. I would say, because we knew we were putting on a play, that we all came in with open minds, and we sat down in a circle, it was circle time, and we each told each other straight out that we were going to respect one another, and that if we were to share a story, that we would respect each of our stories, because we all had something to share. So we started out, just like that, we all said that to each other. And it took some time. We had a couple different rehearsals where we would start to talk, and we would bring research about sexual abuse, devise theater to impact the story and make it more powerful. And each time we would open up a little bit more, and we would get more comfortable with one another. And then the rest is history. It was beautiful the way we all just became a family that much quicker, because we trusted each other, we trusted the story, we trusted what we were doing, and we trusted that we would impact people. So.
I know that not everyone will put on devices theater, and not everyone will go through this process of feeling this way, but because that you're aware of your story and other people have stories around you. When I was growing up, and I had my own story that I had to tell, I told it to my best friend. I didn't know that she was going through the exact same thing. And where my family caught me, her family didn't. But by me being able to be strong enough for her in that moment, and being able to share each other's story together, even though she didn't have the full support that I did, it helped her get through it. It helped her knowing that there are people that understand, even because family, learning, especially like in theater, you learn like family isn't just blood. And when going to Rwanda and all the orphans there, and how they redefined what family was because their families no longer existed in the traditional way, it just makes you think that like you can be someone else's family, that support, that strength that they need, as long as you're as open as they are.
That's really how I felt about the sweatshirt, that everybody became my family, even if, I mean, you're all my friends before, but we just became closer after that, and just to come in, even if you didn't feel like talking that day, or, you know, you'd sit, and it's like, I don't feel like talking, and that was okay, that was okay, just to know that there was no judgment, and, you know, no one's gonna force it out of you, just the process helped me discover my story on my own time, and she discovered a way to say it. But just the amount of openness and not a single judgment anywhere just helped it completely.
Yes. Sure. Second question, but I've heard from almost everybody that you guys say you get guys to know that you were a victim of something. and now you guys realize they really enlightened you this whole process. So my question would be, a lot of times you hear, you never want to be the victim, and like, I know I struggle with that, like almost everything. So it's like, what do you guys think the definition of a victim actually is, and is it a good or bad thing?
Well, I think that even if we didn't necessarily relate to the story itself, and along the process we kind of, whether or not it was about sexual abuse or anything specific, we just kind of learned how to connect through healing, no matter what it was, no matter what we defined ourselves with. I feel like everybody's a victim of something. And I don't really like to say the word victim, but I just feel like everybody
has experienced violation.
Yeah.
Is was how we wanted to coin it.
Exactly.
Right.
So no matter what that was, the way we connected was how we were healing from it. Not what it was in the past, but what we are bringing to heal ourselves from it.
I also believe like victim is so someone's perpetrating you, and that could be yourself. That could be your inner self that's perpetrating you from your outside sources that you've collected and gathered. That could be your brother. That could be your father. That could be the guy down the street. It could be anybody. It could be a man or woman. It doesn't matter. As long as if you feel like someone took a piece of you, if a piece of you is gone because of something, you're a victim of that.
And this process wasn't just about us being miserable and realizing that all of our lives suck.
There were lots of jokes.
There were many, but I think what was so helpful was that, like you said, we live in a society where you're told, don't be the victim, like, shut it down, you are okay, you are fine. But you can't heal from whatever happens to everybody, because everyone is suffering. Like Buddha say, life is suffering. And it reminds me of Drew Kahn. I remember told us one day in class how when you arrive in the world is just painful. Things are bright and awful, and they hurt, and everything's wrong. And it's not worse. That just kind of like the beginning of our show. And I think that no matter what happens to you, it could be the worst thing in the world. No matter how bad it is on the bad scale,
Right.
Everyone has suffered. Everyone. And what this process has helped us do is to realize that, yeah, we've suffered, and unless we accept that and transform it, we can't move on from it. So, yeah.
Good. Well said. Do we have any other questions? Oh, Carol.
I got this.
Hold on. And then we'll come back to you, I promise.
You are her.
Thank you guys very much. I think many of us are jealous of you for this experience you went through. You're sitting here thinking, wow, I want to see it again, but maybe there's not time right now.
22 minutes, we don't.
No, we're good.
But I was wondering how you selected who would do what, because they're all very powerful positions, and some of us would envy being in a certain position, and some of us would dread being in that position. So I was kind of curious about the selection process. And then, did somebody said something about you do it every day? How many times do you perform? And is there? It doesn't have to be, yeah. But I mean, were there specific venues that were especially? I mean, I know we were a good audience.
You were great.
But were there specific venues that also kind of had meaning in this journey?
Absolutely. Okay, so first question. I did have auditions, but I had auditions, and there were more people in the cast than you see now. But Deanna was always going to play the girl. I always knew that. And I called her on the phone, it was very late at night, and I said, I just want to make sure, but are you going to do this? And she said yes. So Deanna's always going to play her. And that's for personal reasons. I think I needed to be with Deanna through that journey. Okay. And I think Deanna needed it too. Okay. Then I knew that Christina and Brittany were going to be in her brain somewhere. I just knew it based on personalities. I knew it based on personality types. Plus, I've worked with all of these people before, so I knew who could handle what role best. So Shabar, Christina, and Brittany were in her brain. And Julia, well, I don't get, because Julia, when I thought about what Julia was going to do, originally Julia was going to be, we called them the muses in their head. But I wanted Julia to be depression because I wanted Julia to do something that she'd never done really before. You've always spoke or sung, right? And so I wanted you to do something that was heavy and physical and fun. Chelsea wasn't the only abuser, and then the abusers, and then it was a lot too, Carl, of like people had to be more than one role. So we had like 14 people at one point. So Chelsea was not the only abuser. I had 2 other abusers who also had to go back, change, and be movie people. And so it was a matter of, well, who's running? So who can be an extra, and who can also, she had to be on stage for a lot of the time. So it was like, well, who can be other abusers who can move around? So it was a lot of that as well. But again, I had worked with Chelsea, so I knew that I wanted Chelsea and Deanna to work together. Trevor was always going to be the boy. He's just called the boy in the work. And Trevor's great. Sam, Crystal, as dad, that was such an interesting experience having a girl, because up until the night before we premiered this show, we were struggling with your character. Because I was like, you don't have to be a boy if you don't want to be a boy. Because I didn't want a boy. I wanted a boy originally to play your part. And then you fell into that role and you really got into it. We like experimented with who could do what. And Sam really got into it. You owned that character right away. And so we just decided Sam would be the dad. And Kara, of course, is going to be mine. Of course, she's just like, the 2 of them hit it off. And it was a lot of experimenting in rehearsals. We did this thing where, in the beginning of rehearsals, before the play was written, where we would say, okay, here's a scene. Now somebody be the girl, somebody be the mom and the dad, right? And then everybody took different roles. Every time it changed, but they hit it off, and that was it. So it was a lot of experimenting, a lot of improvisation that we just didn't know, and it fell into place. But I had some ideas. And yes, definitely, I just knew Deanna was the anchor in all of that. What was the second question, Uncle Carl?
Venues.
Oh, okay. So we have performed here mostly. Don Youngstrom was so nice to give me an evening in this theater where I could just have for Sweatshirt, and we did a thing called the Clothesline Project. You guys should look that up, about decorating t-shirts. And every color t-shirt represents a different type of abuse, and it's a great way to commemorate survivors and victims. So we had this whole event. So we performed here. We also performed in Rockwell during Take Back the Night. And that Take Back the Night is a specific audience for victim survivors of abuse, which was that was a great audience. We've performed here again during the middle of the day and during Bangle Pause. We've also performed outside at Days Park, right by Allen's. I was going to say, where my Chris's house? On Allen Street. So we performed. Guys, help me. 6 or 7 times we have, but mostly in here, and then in Rockwell and the proscenium, and then outside. And I would say the Sweatshirt night was the best. Those were all of our friends and family that first time we premiered. But I would say doing it here is just kind of amazing. I was thinking about that today. I was like, it's really amazing that the Hand Project let us do this. So.
Each time we come to Buffalo, I need a fix of some theater. And so I'm really glad it's a short visit. You guys did. It was excellent. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Carl. Thank you. Thank you. Do we have any more comments or questions before we get into a little bit of fun? Yes. Here. It's a relay. There we go.
Do you anticipate doing this, continuing to do this, or this is it for the? That's my question, I guess.
I know. Originally, when I was talking to Drew, my mentor, is the director of the Hand Project, about the first thing he asked me was like, what do you want to do with Sweatshirts? And I was like, I kind of did it so that I could feel better about myself. That's really why I did Sweatshirt. And I think I accomplished that. And then of course I wanted it to help I wanted it to help this family. I wasn't expecting it to help others. And I didn't know that it would. And so I think that we've accomplished this, and I don't know how to accomplish that. So I would love it if somebody wanted it. I would love for it to be performed other places, but for right now, it's extremely difficult to get this many people together at the same time in the same place. It's extremely difficult. And I I'm very, very proud. It was my senior thesis project. I'm very, very proud of it, but it might be time to just kind of put it on the back burner. I mean, I'm still gonna keep the pencil. we might do it again. But it's very difficult to get everybody together, and it's we can't always be thinking about it all the time. So sometimes you gotta take a step away. Oh, I'm sure we'll come back to it someday.
I was just in my mind visualizing another group of people doing it, not the same actors, but then another group does it so that they can heal and help heal.
What I have submitted this script to other theaters, but it's such a weird script because a lot of it is like, she dances, it's joyful, like there's not really like a script to it. I have many scripts, but none of them are actually do what we do. None of the scripts actually say what you just saw. So it would be very tedious to write it.
It would be like 2 pages of just
That's all it would be, is just stage direction. And then cue some music, right. So maybe, one day, we'll see.
I think some of the principles are what would be transferable. The safety that you felt in the group, the fact that you were there for one another, so it doesn't have to be the same script. But the principles that you feel make you successful would be the things that I think would be then transferable or shareable.
Right. The most universal themes of each scene, right?
I agree, that's where I was going.
Okay. Well, thank you. It's something to think about, talk about. Thank you. Okay, so let's do something just quick and fun. So, when we originally did this, one of the first things we did was made a list of things that we call creepy crawlers, which are anxiety and depression. That they were our creepy crawlers. But anxiety and depression are not the only creepy crawlers. Can somebody give me some more creepy crawler examples? Guilt. Fear. OCD. Insecurity. Jealousy. Good. So creepy crawlers, we define them as our coping mechanisms. So if something bad happens to you, say you got hit by a car, you were walking down the street, you got hit by a car. Okay, you're fine, but you don't probably want to walk down that street again, right? So you find another route. So that's a creepy crawler. You're afraid to go down that street again, right? It's your way of coping. Not necessarily a bad thing, like depression and anxiety. They helped her go to sleep at night, they weren't necessarily a bad thing. So what I'd like you guys to do, just write down 1 or 2 of your own creepy crawlers, and we're going to show you how we physicalize them, how that comes to be, how that comes to life. You bring us so fun. Here, Mom. Oh, and I would love to collect if you take a look at my binders, and please do, there's all of my research, but in the back there's other people's responses on those same index cards, so I'd love to collect your index cards at the end. Or you can see Jeremy, he's got a sweatshirt. Sweatshirt! Everybody has a sweatshirt. Hi, Jer. So if you can just give him your index cards at the end of this, that would be great. And whenever anybody's ready to share, you just let us know, and we're going to physicalize your creepy crawler. And show you that they're not necessarily a bad thing. Yes? Say it again? Okay, what are your creepy crawlers? Poetry? And reflection. So those are something that you need with you at all times. Is that correct? Okay, so let's... Okay, reflection. You are going to show him how reflection can be his creepy crawler. And poetry. Be poetry. Okay, ready? Go for it. What does it look like? Poetry. Reflection.
Is it moving? Is reflection moving? It's like the water and non-drenched fields. The supermoon.
Yes. And then what does reflection sound like? And what does poetry sound like?
Wait.
Okay, so now what I would do. Kara, keep doing that, but come over here. Chelsea, come over here next to Kara. Yeah, you keep doing reflection. And then you would stand in between them. You want to stand in between them? Or no, you're good? It's up to you. Yeah. And now you did your creeper crawlers. So how do they affect you? How do they affect you physically? Would you be scared about it? Would you like love it? Hug it? You just relax in it. Good. Good job, guys. Good. And that's what we're doing. Does anybody else want to go? Yeah. Insecurity and music. Cool. Okay. Insecurity, music. Be music, though I don't want to hear music, I just want to see it. I want to hear it. Insecure. Alright. And what does insecurity sound like? Does that sound like insecurity? Sounds pretty cool. And what does music sound like? So Shabar, come over here. Julia, come over here and be insecure next to Shabar's music. So do you feel like that's what goes inside of you? Sometimes that's what's going on inside of you? Yeah. Cool, good job, guys. Good job. Yeah, you're good. Does anybody else want to go? Yeah. Guilt and warmth. And that's what goes on inside of you, right? So this is how we got to show it on stage. So guilt, warmth. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear it. Just show it to me. Show it. And what does guilt sound like? And what does warmth sound like? So Christina, will you come over here? And Deanna? Is that what goes on inside you? Do you feel? That's what it looks like. Cool. Good job. Good job. So this is where we started. This is where we started our show. We talked about all of our creepy crawlers, everything that we use to cope so that we don't have to deal with the bad things. And then we asked each other what they looked like. And we decided on, it was a huge list, and we decided on depression and anxiety would be in the show. But that's just a small little taste of how we devised a piece of theater. All right? Well, enjoy the rest of the conference. Go see Ibrahim Niari tonight, and the warrant enters at 7 p.m. And thank you guys so much. Thank you.
You want to get people to talk about